There are some things you want to hear from your producer in your ear during a live TV show, and the sentence, "we're about to be thrown off air," is not one of them. Well, so I started playing Disability Rugby League, 7, 8 years ago with Warrington. It was a lot tougher than I thought it was going to be.
Of course it was.
This is awful, but I went in and was like, oh, they're all disabled, it'll be fine. Yeah. This is when I learnt there's one thing that English people like hitting harder than an Australian, and it's an Australian on television.
So, Donald, President of the United States of America, you're President of the actual Rugby League.
Yeah, of the RFL, English Rugby League.
Unbelievable.
I'm imposing tariffs on
I was going to say
anyone from outside of Yorkshire.
Witness.
Well, my favourite moment was having Al Gore on the show, former Vice President of the United States. I think that was when Trump had just come to power.
Since first time round?
The first time round.
2016.
So we had a sketch that involved a Donald Trump impersonator singing with 4 half-naked dancing Putins behind him.
That's interesting.
Okay, and then right before we went to air, our producer came up to me and went, "Oh, we've got an issue." I was like, "What?" And he went, Al Gore doesn't want to be on set when the singing Trump and the naked dancing Putins are out there at the same time.
Dancing.
And then I had the sentence I never thought I'd say in my life. Okay, well, why don't we do Trump and the half-naked Putins first, then bring the former vice president out?
Yeah.
Virgin Radio.
All right, the doctor's surgery is open one more time. And who's next, please?
Our next guest is a comedian, presenter and rugby league player who hosts a show on telly that has leg in the title and legs in real life. Series 32 of The Last Leg
Let's
continues.
just hear that. Just pause there. Let's hear for Series 32. Sorry, Vassos, carry on.
Series 32 of The Last Leg continues every Friday at 10 on Channel 4, so proving once again that Hills pays the bills. Oh, yes, madam. It's Adam Hills.
Adam Hills is alive, but only just. How are you, Adam?
Can you guys just come with me every Monday morning?
We are available. Let's go.
Yes,
Come on.
we
Grab
can.
your coat, you pulled.
I honestly, I walked in here this morning, downstairs, after an hour on the tubes and the buses and all of that to get here, and said to my publicist, "No more Mondays. Let's not do Mondays anymore." And no, do you know what?
Yeah.
Right now, I'm thinking, can we do this every Monday morning?
Yes, you can. And especially if you have a guest like, what was her name again from Friday?
Sophie Willan.
Sophie Willan. If you weren't sure whether The Last Leg is live or not, then you weren't watching on Friday night.
Well, that was a follow-up from the previous week where Brian Cox, the actor, not the scientist, also said words that proved we were live.
Was Brian's pertaining to the same person?
Yes.
Ah,
yes,
see.
indeed.
So you've got a bit of a run on Trump going.
So it was kind of a running joke. And then Sophie did it the first time and it was funny. But then, I can't say on air what she said.
Otherwise,
but she dressed it up with a lovely word at the end of it.
Yeah, no, it's all good. And then she repeated saying the same thing. And
But my problem was... I wasn't sure if she was just saying a northern word that I wasn't aware of that is actually a lovely word.
Yeah, but you have colleagues on the sofa with you who sometimes have your best interests at heart and sometimes maybe not.
There are some things you want to hear from your producer in your ear during a live TV show, and the sentence, "we're about to be thrown off air," is not one of them.
Well, I've been there on the same channel at a similar time on the same day.
Yeah.
We should form a group.
You and I need, I think, probably couples counselling.
Yeah, I think so.
Genuinely, before we went on air, I was talking to you about how, burnt out and stressed I'm feeling with it all. You've done it all.
I've done it all, mate.
Yeah.
I've been there and I've done it. And I'm literally wearing the T-shirt. Actually, I'm not wearing that T-shirt. You've brought me this season's top-in from the Mighty Wires. Tell us about this team. Tell us about your connection with the team.
Well, so I started playing Disability Rugby League, 7, 8 years ago with Warrington. And people go, why Warrington? Well, they were the first team in the UK to set up a Disability Rugby League team.
Yeah.
And I played when I was a kid. And then I got to about 12 or 13 and no one wanted to tackle the guy with the unbreakable carbon graphite leg. Yeah. And I completely understood that. And then when I found out there was Disability Rugby League, I was like, I want to have a crack at this. Yeah. And I'll be honest, the first game we played, actually it was 8 years ago, almost to the day, was against Leeds. And it was a lot tougher than I thought it was going to be.
Of course it was.
This is awful, but I went in and was like, oh, they're all disabled. It'll be fine. Yeah. And one of their big forwards, this is when I learnt, there's one thing that English people like hitting harder than an Australian, and it's an Australian on television. Because I was on the wing and I noticed one of their big forwards, Tommy, come right out to my wing.
He got bigger and bigger, the big forward, who's really big by the time he arrived.
And the next time I ran, he tackled me, threw me on the ground, jumped on my back, and in my ear just went, I enjoyed that. And I was like, oh, okay, this is real now, isn't it?
Welcome to the club. Welcome to the game.
But because of that, I've played 20 or 30 games for Warrington now. I was going up there every week for training, and I love it. I love the town, I love the people, and I love the club. And I know you love the club as well.
I love the club. I love Simon. He invited my daughter to a game a couple of weeks ago. He's always very good to the family. It's beautiful, beautiful. Great vibe up there.
It's amazing. And now I can take you to any game you want to go to.
Well, thank you very much.
Because
I'm going to do this bit. Because back to Trump and back to your show. So Adam is on mostly talking about Adam Hills, The Last Leg. The Last Leg, Series 32, continues this Friday with Show 3 from the most recent series. It's all live, 10 p.m. live on Channel 4. This is Series 32, not Show 32. That would be a thing. Yellowstone's my favourite show in the world. It's only got 50 shows going on, and it's got Kevin Costner in it, for heaven's sake. This is 32 series times how many shows? Do you know what your show count is at the moment?
Funnily enough, I do. I think this week will be 349.
Round of applause for that. Round of applause, 349. Here we go. Boom.
Mondays.
I think we did close to 200 TFIs, but you've done double that, and you're still going strong, and you've got plenty in the tank yet. So obviously Trump has made more than a few appearances on the show over the last couple of weeks, but you have something in common with Donald Trump. Whether you like to admit it or not, you've got to surrender to the fact that you do.
I do.
Off you go.
I, as of last week, am officially the president of the Rugby League.
So Donald, president of the United States of America, you're president of the actual Rugby League.
Yeah, of the RFL, English Rugby League.
Unbelievable.
I'm imposing tariffs on
I was going to say.
anyone from outside of Yorkshire.
St Helens, Widnes, Wigan, Leeds, definitely. Hull Kingston Rovers, forget it. I know what you're saying.
Building a wall.
Yes.
Building a wall around Cheshire.
Building a wall around the scrum. So it's interesting. Did you have to have, what do they call those things that he goes to, the hustings and all that?
Yeah.
What do they call them in America?
Oh, like to pitch myself for president?
Yeah, what is it called? It's
the stumps speeches or whatever it is.
Whatever they're called. Did you have to do any of that?
No, I just got a call. My worry was, can an Australian be president of the Rugby League?
100%.
Okay. But then I figured and you well know this as well, Rugby League here is northern. It's mainly northern.
It is.
And I heard a phrase once that no one hates Rugby League more than Rugby League fans because it's got that northern dour kind of, I don't know, almost insecurity, or inferiority complex.
Yeah.
But as an Australian, I come from Sydney, where NRL Rugby
League's it.
Is it?
Yeah.
So I'm over here going, this sport's awesome, and I kind of feel like people went, oh, do you mean you can be enthusiastic about it?
So what can you bring to the table other than tariffs on all other sides than Warrington Wolves?
Well, I can bring the enthusiasm. I can bring the genuine love of, I think this game is great, and I don't feel the inferiority complex that sometimes there is around it.
Yeah,
here.
I mean, nowhere near what it used to be.
No.
Because it's so much more athletic nowadays.
Absolutely. It's a hell of a game.
It's a proper game.
Do you know the great person to talk to about it is Stuart Pearce, the footballer?
Of course.
Who has only recently discovered rugby league.
He loves it.
And loves it. He's blown away by it.
Yeah. He would have been a great rugby player. He sort of was. Have you had him on the show?
We haven't had him on the show.
Get him on the last leg, man.
I met him in a Warrington game. Didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
And someone said, oh, West Ham's having a bit of a tough time at the moment. And he went, yeah. And I looked at him and went, oh, are you a supporter? And he went, well, kind of. And then all the people around me went, oh, we need to tell you who that is and what his nickname was.
Yeah.
No, he loves rugby league. I love rugby league. So I can bring the enthusiasm. But what I also want to do, what I've realised is the strength of the game here in the UK is the communities around it. All the little clubs. And it's not just the Super League. I got, when it was announced that I was president, I got tweets from people in Workington, Cornwall, Goole, saying come to our clubs. So I want to go to all of those places with the presidential chains, sell hot dogs at halftime, clean out the dressing sheds.
Do you have a chain?
I do, yes.
You've got a chain, man. I didn't know you actually got a chain with the whole deal.
Proper big chain.
Who was the last guy to have the chain?
Lindsay Hoyle.
Lindsay Hoyle.
Speaker of the House.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Because he loves a chain.
He does.
He had to go. It's too many chains.
I'll tell you a secret about Lindsay Hoyle.
Come on.
Okay, we asked him.
His father Doug was the MP for Warrington.
Exactly. Yeah. We asked him to make a video for us for the last leg last week.
Right.
Saying, and we asked him to say 3 things, 3 tips for the chains.
Yeah.
Don't put them in the wash. Make sure you declare them on your house insurance.
Yes.
And whatever you do, don't walk into the bedroom wearing nothing else but the chains and shout order.
Okay.
He didn't do that last one for us.
So the thing about mayoral chains, ceremonial chains like this chain. I've not seen the chain, but I'm picturing this chain.
Yeah.
How do you get it to stay on your shoulders and not just become a medallion?
Okay, right.
This
is the
do
thing.
you staple it onto the shoulder?
This shows you exactly how men's minds work.
Yeah.
Because you're right. You're exactly right. It was put on my shoulders and it kept slipping down.
Yeah.
And I was like, how do you keep this? And no one knew. No one at the Rugby League knew.
Right.
And then the former vice president was there and he said, I bought a couple of safety pins.
Yeah.
And I pinned them to my
That
shoulders.
would make sense.
I was like, okay, that makes sense. And then I opened the box and then I found that there was a safety pin in the box so that you can pin it to the back behind you to keep your chains there.
Yeah.
Okay, so then I'm thinking, well, that's ridiculous. Surely there's a better way. And then I was looking at the chains the other night and went, there's pins in the chains. There's a little
That's
pin
how
on
they do
either
it.
side of the chains to
The
put
chains worry me, I've got to be
Really?
honest. The mayoral chains always worried me, the mayor and the mayoress. And
Why?
this. I don't know. I'm not a jewellery fan anyway. That's a better chain than some chains, some ceremonial chains.
It's a good chain.
It's a good chain.
And so-
well, I'm not going to say, no, it's not a good chain. No chain's a good chain.
out to you.
Yeah.
Behind, okay, I've now realised behind about there, that one and that one have a little pin behind it that you then...
Not great radio. Spent far too long on the telly. How many awards has the last leg won?
Honestly, no idea.
Loads.
We've won a few Royal Television
Comedy
Society
awards and
Awards,
things.
comedy awards. Yeah,
for you, mate.
couldn't tell you.
And as far as exports...
Except that no BAFTAs. I know that.
Yeah, your time will come. I can't believe they haven't given you a BAFTA.
I know, right?
They made one up for me.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't really a category. It never existed before, and it's never existed since. I think it was like a joke one.
What did they call it?
I can't remember. Noah's got it in his bedroom. He's convinced himself over the years that he's won it for being, I don't know, born.
I think that's the sign of that you know you're doing something right when they have to create a category for you.
Right.
Because they're like, well, you're doing something that's not been done before.
Yeah. I don't know. Or it felt more like a gotcha. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. So highlights. Can you list highlights over 32 years of the last leg?
Yeah, my ultimate highlight, I think,
Oh,
was...
one. That's good, man.
Well, my favourite moment was having Al Gore on the show, former Vice President of the United States. But what I loved about that was, as part of that show, we had... I think that was when Trump had just come to power.
Since first time round.
The first time round.
2016.
So we had a sketch that involved a Donald Trump impersonator singing... I can't remember what the song was.
Oh, wow, that's good already.
With 4 half-naked dancing Putins behind him.
That's interesting.
Okay, so that's going to... And then right before we went to air, our producer came up to me and went, oh, we've got an issue. I was like, what? And he went, Al Gore doesn't want to be on set when the singing Trump and the naked dancing Putins are out there at the same time. Well, half-naked dancing Putins. So, and we were like, then we're trying to go, well, how... Okay. And then I had the sentence I never thought I'd say in my life. Okay, well, why don't we do Trump and the half-naked Putins first, then bring the former vice president out? Yeah. Like, what kind of TV show is that?
But that's the whole thing about the Larry Sanders Show.
Yes.
The Larry Sanders Show, lots of people who work on this show have never even heard of Gary Shandling and Larry Sanders. The Larry Sanders Show is fascinating because it's all true. And it's very office-seekers, there's no laugh track. I found it hilarious. It was on the air when we were doing TFI Friday, and we were having all the same conversations about guests backstage and about my paranoia and, you know, all that, only the paranoid survive and all that absolute nonsense, and coming up with sentences like you've just said.
Yes.
You know, one of my favourites, Stephen Joel, who's known very sadly no longer with us, best assistant producer, best props guy, best props master, best sort of most experienced. One of the most experienced people in light entertainment I've ever had the good fortune to work with.
Yeah.
I said to him once, Stephen, we need a tank for Friday. His reply, what colour? I said, excuse me? He went, well, what colour? The tank's a given. What colour do you want? I said, pink. He went, okay.
We had a very similar thing where we, on a Thursday afternoon at 5 o'clock, decided we needed a wrecking ball.
Yeah, of course.
For a Miley Cyrus bit. And it was there at midday the next day.
Of course it was there.
And our props guy, it's really funny you remember the name, because I remember our props guy, John Gallimore, lovely, amazing guy. I said to him the next day, how did you find a wrecking ball? And he went, oh, I know people.
Yeah, of course.
And I was like, how do you know people that have a wrecking ball?
Because he's been doing it forever.
Exactly. And then he said, oh, have I never told you? I did the props for the James Bond film Moonraker.
Yeah.
You go, of course you did.
And they all did the same
Yes.
thing. And because on Morecambe and Wise or Monty Python or The Goodies or whatever, they used stuff like this all the time. And the reason they loved working on TFI Friday and people love working on The Last Leg is because our show and now your show, one of the last shows that require these things or has the budget or the temerity or the creativity or the confidence to ask for these props, and then comes up with the reason for them to be on the air, and also has somebody who knows how to hoist them without them falling onto everything, killing them.
Yes, yeah.
You know, we once had the largest single cube of Cadbury's chocolate in the world on the show, right? Not bar, cube. That's how you describe it. Would it be a cube of chocolate? Because you get a bar of chocolate.
Square.
A square. Sorry,
Yeah.
that's exactly.
Yeah,
I
okay.
knew it wasn't right.
Yeah.
So we had the largest single square of Cadbury's chocolate in the world, right?
Right.
And it was like, I think it was 2 tons. And the thing was, this cannot drop onto anybody's toe. And by the way,
Right.
we're not joking, because it will break their foot.
Yeah.
And it was like fun, but potentially not fun at a wrecking ball.
Yeah.
It wasn't a props wrecking ball. It was a real wrecking ball.
I think it might have been a props wrecking ball. Which,
Prop,
in a
halfway
weird way,
to a real one.
Yeah.
So it wasn't papier-mâché, was it?
No.
No.
But in a weird way, that's almost more impressive that you know someone.
very-
And in a similar thing, I remember once we had an ending of the show. We were dancing through the studio singing "Don't Stop Me Now,"
Brilliant.
Mr. Fahrenheit. And our wardrobe lady said, "Oh, are you doing that because it's Freddie Mercury's birthday today?" And we went, "Oh, is it?" And she said, "Yeah." And someone got their phone out to check, and she went, "Oh, I know Freddie's birthday." We went, "Well, why do you know Freddie's birthday?" She went, "Well, I used to go shopping with him for all his clothes."
Yeah.
And then this was my favourite thing. Someone went, "Oh, like, and what about the music video?" She went, "Oh yeah." And they went, "What about I want to break free?" And she went, "Oh goodness, I stayed up all night the night before sewing those fluffy
course.
slippers." And you're like, "This is awesome."
It wasn't Marcia, was it?
No, it wasn't Marcia. I think it was Karen.
So
It was-
Marcia,
anyway,
our
yeah.
wardrobe lady, she drove a hearse.
I'm loving these stories, by
She
the
drove
way.
a hearse.
Yeah.
She came to TFI in a hearse every Friday. You know why?
Why?
To lay the clothes out in the back so they didn't get creased. Because that's how good she was.
That's awesome.
And guess who got her the hearse? Stephen, who got me the tang. That bit's not true. But it might be true. I didn't check. I have no idea. So you work on a great show, man.
Sorry?
You work on a great
Oh,
show.
and-
You're doing it.
And you did it before
And I
us.
have
It's
such
so
fond memories of doing it, but you're still doing it. That's why, I am jealous in the nicest way possible of you right now. But I
Right.
wouldn't want it again for the world.
Really?
By the way, offer me a contract for the world and I'm not signing, right? But I'm so glad that you're having a good time.
Is
doing
it that thing? Because I saw an interview with comedians in cars getting coffee,
Yeah,
and it was Jerry
Jerry
Seinfeld and Tina Fey,
Right.
talking about 30 Rock.
Yes.
And she said, I had an amazing time, and people say to me, "Oh my God, what are you going to do next?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, nothing. I don't want to do that again."
Yeah.
That nearly killed me.
Yeah.
Do you feel the same way?
No, I think this is my true nature, radio.
Right.
And so I work hard at this, but I don't find it difficult. TV, I did find difficult, but I was happy to do it for a given period of time. I could hit it hard for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
I've tried it since. Obviously, famously, it didn't work on Top Gear, but that was different because it was my show and all this kind of stuff. I wasn't right for it, without question. On TFI, we didn't really have a plan.
Yeah.
It was like running the marathon, having never trained for it and not knowing how long it was and not knowing where the aid stations were and not knowing anything about that, but thinking, well, it doesn't matter. We're 30 years old. This is going to be fine.
Right.
And it was. But we literally ran out of road and Elton John took over.
Really?
Yeah. So I didn't do the last 10 TFIs.
Right.
I went missing without... absent without leave.
Right.
And Elton John did the final ever one, and other
good
people
Lord,
did.
okay.
So that was that. Great times, great memories, but over to you, Adam.
And look, I've always felt in a way that we've kind of you've passed the baton. We picked up the baton and run with it from you.
Hang on a minute. You've done 32 series. We did like 10.
Really?
No, the baton is yours, my friend. Yeah. I mean, we did 42 shows a year, which I suppose is similar, or 40 shows a year.
Yeah, okay. I think I'm still running with the baton.
Yeah.
I'm not ready to pass it yet.
Are you still worried about that big bloke from Leeds coming at you to steal the baton?
I'm looking ahead to see who might be taking the baton next.
The funny thing, this whole Donald Trump thing, I want to go back and watch that now. I want to watch Al Gore in 2016. The singing Donald Trump comes on. Little do we know what's about to happen. Was it pre-Brexit or post-Brexit?
It was post-Brexit.
Post-Brexit.
Yeah.
You got the 4 semi-naked Putins, right? And again, somebody's got to cast those people. Mm-hmm. So where did you get 1 semi-naked Putin from? No, you got 1. No, you got 1. Yeah, no, we've got 1. No, we need 4. What? Who needs 4? And was it only 4 because you could only find 4? Would it have been 8?
No, I think we saw. You know, when you see an idea in your head and you go, okay, I think 4's the right number here. And look, to be fair,
how many semi-naked Putins? I think 4. I think 4. Yeah.
When you're casting semi-naked Putins, the camouflage trousers and the bald head and the topless body do most of the work.
Yeah.
Like, so, you know, I think if you looked at them, you'd notice that probably 2 of them without the costume.
Says the man who didn't have to go and find them. Yeah, it's probably easy to find those. Yeah. The person who did find them listening to the show now going, you have no idea. Bald? Bare-chested? Is that all I get from you, Adam Hills? You've lost touch. Adam, we've got to wrap it up. Anything else you want to say? Congratulations on being the 33rd president of the Rugby League, Rugby Football League. That's awesome.
Thank you so much.
Anything else going on? You want to get out there? Please tell me you're not doing anything else.
I mean, you know, I've got a couple of restaurants.
You need to sleep.
I do need to sleep.
You need to sleep.
I'll take you to the rugby and I'll take you to one of my restaurants.
All right, and then we will rest.
And then we will rest.
Spoon. I will stroke you, and you will go to sleep. Okay? And I'll be there in the morning. But after that, you're on your own. Okay? Do you understand? Can we hear for Adam Hills putting up with this on a Monday morning? Here we go, everyone. Adam Hills.
See you next Monday.